Hello everyone, welcome back to All Things Taeler, my YouTube channel, and a special welcome, not an S special welcome, but a special welcome to another wicked Q&A Wednesday. I was about to say I didn't mess it up, but I totally did, but I'm rolling with it, it's okay. Be free with your authenticity, right? I hope you guys are loving my puntastic little shirt here. I have a closet full of them. It's called BWA and has all these like fun characters. And it even has like Angelica and Cartman on here. And it says straight out to bully. Oh, I love it. I love it. Closet full of these kinds of shirts, guys. So this week I have 2 to 3 questions, so I'm keeping it fresh, keeping it awesome. And this first question actually comes from a person that frequents my YouTube channel. Yay! So shout out to Babes in Board Games, who likes to every so often ask me on my YouTube channel, why am I not in this company or that company? Why am I not in the WWE or AEW, where there's so many matchups I can have with people like Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and some of the other people that she mentioned. So, a lot of people like to think, and it just kind of secretly makes me laugh. I'm just in my tiny house like, oh, if they only knew. Like one of those deals. It's like, people always like to think that, based off of these questions, basically, that companies don't want me. Nobody ever, like, because of like weird things that people say that they don't have a right to say, but it fits their narrative to say it, basically. And it's like, well, I'll be the villain in your story if that makes you feel better. Like, great, I'll do that for you, but that doesn't mean it's the truth. And that's what I've given a lot of advice to people over the last couple years, is like, you know, you honestly have to be okay with being the bad guy in other people's stories, because it's their story. You know what I mean? And sometimes people's illusions are so fragile that it's easier for them to blame you instead of them realizing they're their own villain in their own story. So with all these narratives that people have out there of me, it's like, okay, like if that makes you guys feel better, great, but I know the truth. I have the evidence of the truth all the time. And actually I have one of them saved permanently and framed, just so I can be like, yeah. The nerd that I am. So instead of like, flip your question around, Babes in Board Games, and believe me, you're not the only one. Instead of asking why don't these companies want me or why I'm not in them, like maybe ask, I wonder why Taeler didn't want it. You know what I'm saying? Or something to that effect. Especially with the relatively recent announcement. I know Fightful.com picked up the story. A bunch of news sites picked it up. I think even Ryan Satan. If I said his name wrong, I'm sorry, because I hate when that happens to me. Sorry, bro. Shout out. I believe he spoke on it too when it came out, about the WWE giving a time limit, and then after that basically they will no longer be working through like third-party stuff. And that basically means like stuff like this, essentially. So superstars, YouTube channels, podcasts, guest appearances on things like films and television shows, whether they host their own cooking show, or if they want to write books and be in magazines and all this kind of stuff. Like, if it's not approved through the WWE, you can't do it. So, you know, you have to kind of think of that stuff. And for me, I've said this for a while now, I like being my own boss. I personally love being the reason why I get to eat. You know, like how hard I hustle is how much I get back out of life, you know, and I like that. And I like my dream to still be my dream without it having all of these bad experiences and consequences and having to be based off of other people's opinions of what they think happiness and success are. Like, I think I'm successful, I'm happy, and I love what I'm doing. And to me, that's what matters. I don't need a logo or a piece of paper. So ask yourself, like, instead of asking, why don't you think people want to hire me? Instead ask, I wonder if she's been offered and she just didn't take it. You never know. And that's all I'll say about that. Next question is super fun. Somebody asked me, I believe it was on my dog Slinky the Weenie's Instagram. If you guys want to follow him, I'm always posting paw-tastic content with, you know, furry friend advice, reviews of products, just adorable tail wagging videos and photos and all kinds of really fantastic stuff. You can follow him on Instagram. He has a little over 3,000 followers. His handle is at slinkyandfriends_. So you will see my cats make guest appearances, Hamlet, the piggy, my rescue dog Breezy, my chickens. I'll actually be posting more of that very soon. I was about to wink, and I was like, I just did that, so I won't do that. So I was kind of like, I'm just doing me, guys, just doing me. I'm so excited. And if I play with my hair, I just like to play with my hair, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my rescue dog. I remember when I chopped off all of my hair as a teenager in high school, and I had like the super short hair in the back and then the long hair right here in the front. So, whoever told me that looked good should really just be punched in the face. It was so bad. So bad. So I like to play with my hair now, because I'm like, oh. Coronavirus was great in this in the quarantine sense of that I haven't really needed hair extensions. So right now I'm just like enjoying my hair being free and being able to heal from all of the styling and dyeing and wrestling and getting my hair pulled out and things like that. Like, it's just like, oh, it can breathe. It's alive. Okay, so anyway, back to my second question. My second question came from a fan that is a fan of mine and also is on Slinky's YouTube channel. And they asked me, how can I be a professional wrestler and do all the things I do and manage to have animals and live in a tiny house on wheels? And the answer is, it's not hard, guys. It is super easy. And if you guys want tips on that, I will totally be down for doing tips on that. I know I've done a little bit of it before, but I think it'll be so much fun. The biggest thing for me, honestly, is organize, because when you live in a tiny house on wheels, you know when they say, for example, a little goes a long way? Well, the same thing applies to messes. When you have a little space, a tiny mess looks like a huge mess. So organize. And another thing about it is vertical storage. So, if you don't have a lot of floor space, square footage, look up. A lot of times that's all dead space, wasted space. So for me, I find creative ways to reinvent spaces and reinvent different things that have multiple purposes. So for example, I have a little ottoman that I found at this really cool thrift store. And it holds all my stuff for work inside of it. So then I don't need a workstation. I can just pull it out when I want it, put it back away when I don't need it. Another thing is my pantry. My pantry, I can fit pretty much everything that I need in there, from my crock pot to this really cool oven that I want to try out, and a NutriBullet that just broke, so I'm really upset about it. And like all my cooking stuff. I didn't have excess drawers in my tiny house, so what did I do? Vertical storage. I got one of those magnetic strips. I put it on the wall on the side of my stove, and that's where all my knives and my cooking scissors are. So it's basic things like that, guys. It's like basic 101. And that's how I'm able to keep everything organized, and, like all of like my valet dresses or, my wrestling stuff. I have vacuum seal bags that I can fit a year's worth of like wrestling clothes or merchandise or whatever in vacuum seal bags, and it like squishes it all down and fits right under my bed. Super easy. You just have to stay clean, basically, which I mean, it's kind of like kindergarten, put things back where you found it. Take the trash out where it belongs, in the trash. So thank you for that. Next question is from Twitter. Somebody asked me, if I wasn't wrestling and I wasn't a wrestler, is there anything else that I would have been? And I thought that was a really cool question, and it kind of piggybacks off of Babes in Board Games original question, which was the first question. I'm already doing all the things that I ever dreamed of doing for my life when I was a kid. So I think that's so cool. I find it so inspiring and awesome. Like, super awesome. Like, I have so many announcements I've been sitting on, guys. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, no idea. I'm super stoked. You guys are gonna be like, holy crap, Taeler freaking Hendrix. Like, it's gonna be so cool. I'm so excited. So I have always wanted to be a writer. I have always wanted to be in films. I have always wanted to be in acting. I've always wanted to be in wrestling, and I've always wanted to help people. And I'm doing all of those things. So I just love it. I create I collect things and then I get them for charities. You guys notice that I do a lot for feeding people with, providing meals through wrestling, through appearances. Slinky and I, over the last couple of years, raised over 100 pounds worth of crayons, and I was able to donate them to this amazing preschool that was really struggling, and now they are going to have crayons for literally like next 10 years. It's crazy. Yeah, we did that. That is so cool. I remember being at Shimmer and one of the bookers, Lexi Fife for Shimmer, was like, "Why are people giving you crayons?" And and I was like, "Oh, it's this really cool thing I'm doing for charity where they recycle old crayons and turn them into brand new crayons for children in hospitals and children in poorer communities and stuff." And she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I do things." And it was so cool. People like Kelly Klein donated to them. I believe Ray Lynn gave me some crayons. Thunder Kitty, Deanna Perrazzo at that time. So yeah, some wrestlers got behind it too. It was really cool. So I've done that. I also collected some of my old wrestling dresses as well as prom dresses and other things like that were in good shape that I found at stores. And I'm slowly making a collection that I can donate to Belle of the Ball. That was, they basically gown hundreds of girls from the East Coast who can't afford to go to prom, basically. And they gown them from head to toe. So to me, that's something that's very near and dear and close to my heart, because I couldn't really, my family wasn't, the worst in the neighborhood or anything, but we weren't crazy well off, And I remember falling in love with this prom dress, and it was $480. And guys, that was on sale. I couldn't believe it, So I was like, oh wow, I'm not asking my parents to pay that. That's insane. That's a down payment on a used car back then, I wouldn't do that to my family. And my dean heard me talking about how my family and I couldn't afford the prom dress I wanted. And the dean went, and I guess she was touched by my story. I don't know, still to this day, I don't know why she did it, but I'm just so thankful. She found the retired sewing teacher from our local high school, and she talked that lady into making me a legit tailor-made prom dress just for me, and it cost me $150. So, and that was basically mostly just for fabric. She didn't charge me for the labor. So stuff like that is so near and dear to my heart. And for people that know my story from when I was very little, providing meals for people is something that I've always been passionate about, and just giving back to different communities, So, I'm already doing that. Long story. And I'm doing so many other, charitable projects and stuff that I just love. I don't talk about them a lot because it's I don't talk about them to be look at me, 10 things I hate about you or whatever. She does that. I do it because I want to. When I was doing WrestleCon, by the way, I freaking love WrestleCon. I had so many amazing fans donate to progeria research through WrestleCon, and it was so exciting. And I had this plaque that I wrote on that said I just donated to progeria at #WrestleCon with Taeler Hendrix, and the fans got an extra picture with me and they held up the plaque, so it was really cool. So they will, as long as they have that picture, they will forever remember what they did, helping find a cure for progeria and stuff. So that's stuff I just love, The other thing is I've always wanted to be a writer. I'm writing books, and I'm writing about wrestling for Fightful.com. I think I'm one of the few wrestlers that's also turned not wrestling journalist, but reporter or whatever you want to call it. So I'm really excited about that because it's kind of showing a different side to Taeler Hendrix, and I love being able to cheer people on and watch wrestling and stuff, And then my blog, I'm loving that. I love doing that. And then obviously my podcast, Talks with Taeler Hendrix. And I'm starting the Ring of Hendrix podcast that will be featuring somebody who may or may not be on TV tonight on See Your Voice on Fox with Ken Jeong. So I'm really excited. And I'm wrestling when I want to, and I'm actually getting ready to do some pretty huge projects soon. So I'm doing everything I ever wanted to do. But if I couldn't do any of that, so we'll rephrase the person's question. If I couldn't do any of those things, what would I do? I would probably be a forensic scientist. Isn't that crazy weird? Guys, I loved history and science in school. My nerd is showing. It's I love forensic science. I cannot get enough of forensic files and um just like the analytics and all that stuff. Like I would love to study bones. Like I don't know, I find it very fascinating. Very, very fascinating that you can tell a person's gender. You can tell where they grew up based on and their ethnicity and what may or may not have been in their diet just by analyzing bones. Like I think that's so cool. And I actually in college had a little bit of experience with think tanks, and kind of like the political system and stuff. So and my major while I was in a 4-year university, I wrote a thesis to, they basically were like, if we don't offer the major that you want, come up with a thesis and present it, arguing a case for why it should be a major. And so I did that, and they were very responsive to it. So I actually got to switch programs and go and do this. I'm very much environmentally conscious, and so I wanted to help the environment, especially during times of war, because a lot of stuff happens. I was very inspired by a lot of what America did to kind of come together during World War II. So I was very inspired by that, and I started doing a lot of research and stuff like that. So I wanted to create my own major, like I said, and so I did. And basically I wanted to major in environmental policy during times of war. So that was like a really big deal for me to, for like sustainability and, war tactics and, peaceful solutions to conflicts that don't involve, napalm bombs and things like crazy stuff. So those are the kinds of things that I would probably be doing. Science or politics, which is crazy because we just had the first debate last night. So those were the things I'll be doing. So today was the second ever Wicked Q&A Wednesday. I hope you all enjoyed it. I am super excited. Thank you so much, Babe and Board Games. Thank you so much to You Know Who You Are on Instagram. And as well as my third question, which was from Twitter. Please keep asking questions, guys. You never know which ones I am going to pick. I'm super excited to be doing these with you guys because then I also get to take you guys down memory lane with me, which is, I don't know, it's kind of cool to me. Next week, I'll be looking for some new questions, so make sure you and your friends are posting away. I will be having I'm so excited. My next 2 children's books are already sent off to publishing. We're just waiting for the covers to be finished. So I'm super excited. I believe I'm getting a follow-up tomorrow. So those will be hitting the proverbial shelves very soon. Remember Trish the Fish and Nosy Rosie. So I'm super excited. Tonight I am once again working on my psychological suspense book, which takes place during World War II. So I'm super excited. Yeah, guys, I got so much crazy stuff going on that if I was doing, wrestling full time, I wouldn't be able to do any of these things. And I feel super blessed and super excited. And I just love how supportive the Taeler Army really is. Like, I genuinely think I have the best fan base in the world. I really do. And I love Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan was one of the women that Babes and Board Games brought up. I actually talked with her about chickens because we both have chickens and stuff. So yeah, I would love to work with so many of these ladies. I'm just not looking to be signed. And that's okay with me, because I'm busy doing me, and I'm busy doing all the amazing things that I ever wanted to do on my own terms. And I never will have to sacrifice my integrity to do that. And I want more people to experience that and feel that. But yo, seriously, I love me some Liv Morgan, and of course I love Ruby Riott. We work together on the indies all the time. I've met Alexa Bliss like 5 times. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of girls that I know. I've been in the business long enough to know, or I've met quite a few of them. So stay tuned. I have more Fightful.com articles coming out that I will be posting on social media. An episode of Talks with Taeler Hendrix just aired yesterday with former New England wrestler Amber, who is Jen Martin. We talked about amazing things like the health factors that go into breast implants, the difference between health and fitness and how people get them confused, how to leave pro wrestling and still love it, different advice for when you're in wrestling, plus different advice for and how to juggle crazy busy schedules between college, work, being a parent, you know, so many different things out in the world now that the world is kind of starting to pick up again. So make sure you check that out, Talks with Taeler Hendrix. I will add a link in the description. I'll have more content daily on this YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, say hi. Thank you so much for everybody that participated today. You guys are all awesome. Thank you so much.